This was a hands-down, unmitigated, flat-out, complete 10-0 win for Kamala. It makes the political discourse very choppy, makes it very aggressive, it makes it hard to understand one another. We'll see, but it doesn't really serve either of them right now to get back in the ring with one another at this stage. Trump did have his Trumpisms throughout the night. The IVF, love me, the IVF. I'm big on IVF, I'm great on IVF. Me, big, tall on IVF. So Kamala Harris and Donald Trump had their first debate. There are three main items, I think, of discussion that really come out of this. First of all is how good was Kamala, how strong she was. This was an extremely dominant performance from Kamala Harris. The second aspect, and there has been some chatter online about the moderators. Did the moderators put their finger on the debate too much? Did they put their finger on the dial? And then the third question is, where do we go from here? This was a hands-down, unmitigated, flat-out, complete 10-0 win for Kamala. That is the overall story of the night. There had been stories in the lead up that she had been locked away for days in a hotel suite with a team preparing every day, as you should, for the presidential debate. Apparently they built a stage. They had someone dressed as Trump to play Trump. It wouldn't surprise me if they even had cameras there, which they probably should do. One of the things that Kamala actually did quite a lot, which was very interesting, is she looked directly down the barrel of the camera. A lot, and it was very effective. And this is something that Trump usually does. This is something that Trump kind of developed. When most people are giving an answer, they look here, and Trump often, particularly in his debates, would look directly down the camera. He almost didn't do that at all last night, and Kamala did that a lot, really connecting with the viewers. Again, this is clearly all good, solid preparation. She ran those answers 100 times, a dozen different ways, and that is perfectly and absolutely fine. Trump is known for being off the cuff, and that style has typically worked for him in the past. That kind of works for him usually. It didn't last night. Trump did have his Trumpisms throughout the night, of course. He's big on IVF. The IVF, love me, the IVF. I'm big on IVF, I'm great on IVF. Me, big, tall on IVF. This may have actually been the best performance anyone has had against Trump in a debate. Because even when people, you might argue, have been more rounded on the topics, etc., he usually has one or two mic drop moments that you can clip and that goes and does the rounds the next day. That didn't really happen. He didn't put Kamala on the back foot really at any point. A lot of people probably didn't see this coming going into this. There was the idea that Kamala can often speak in word salads, that the interview may have been a little flat, didn't move the dial one way or the other. Well, last night clearly did. How much of an impact it's going to have on the polls, we'll see. Now, one question, of course, is the moderators. Did the moderators put their finger on the debate, on the dial too much? The conservative media absolutely think so, and they have been having a fit over this since the debate finished. I mean, here are some tweets. Megyn Kelly, OMG, more fact-checking from ABC. This is the worst anchor pylon I have ever seen. Ben Shapiro, ABC's moderators are a disgrace to their profession. Candice Owens, the ABC moderators are debating Trump. They came ready to make him look like a liar to support Kamala. And then from the other side of the aisle, you had Chris Hayes from MSNBC. ABC moderators are doing an excellent job. Now, the question is, did the moderators put their finger on the dial too much? That's the question. The short answer is, to use a bad soccer football analogy, it's like you're being 4-0 down and the referee gives away a penalty, and it shouldn't be a penalty. And then they score and now it's 5-0 down and you claim this is outrageous, the referee was too involved in the game. It's like, yeah, but you were losing anyway. How much did this actually impact the debate? That's the real question. I don't think it did. I think Kamala was so strong last night and Trump seemed so flat-footed. The moderators did indeed interfere and intervene more against Trump. I don't think they checked Kamala once. This does play into the idea that there is a left-wing liberal media bias. Now, some people don't see this. Some people don't believe that's the case. But for many people it is, and a lot of people don't want to have opinions massaged to them. They don't want to have things fed to them or feel like they're being manipulated. A lot of people really do want to have things put in front of them in an unbiased way as best as possible and let them make their own mind. And this does feed in to part of Trump's appeal. The anti-media, everybody on the left, everyone in the media is against me, etc. So they would have been far better of just keeping their hands off, or if you are going to intervene, if you're going to fact check, you need to do it equally. To an extent, it really doesn't matter because Kamala won the night regardless. I don't think it would have made much difference either way, but it does impact this story, this idea that the media aren't straight shooters, which is what I think a lot of voters really do want. I watched MSNBC afterwards. Many of them were praising what a great job the moderators did. We really are in a world where there are two sides viewing the same set of information from two completely different angles, and it's very hard to get any agreement and alignment on these kind of issues, the kind of culture war issues around, media and bias, etc. It seems that people, once they have their vantage point, they are incapable of seeing from the other side. And that goes for the left and the right. It makes the political discourse very choppy, makes it very aggressive. It makes it hard to understand one another. The question is now, where do we go from here? Will there be another debate? It doesn't really serve either person, I don't think. Kamala was a hands-down win. She can take that. She can run with that right to the election. Trump, probably no advantage in him debating Kamala again. He can probably feel like he can pick up momentum in other ways. He can do his podcasts that he's been doing more recently, these long form with the younger, Jake Pauls and Lex Friedmans of the world. He can do his rallies. He might be able to feel like he can build momentum in other ways. Kamala, this was a hands down, stone cold, absolute clear cut knockout win. Why do it again? So this might be the only debate we'll see between the two. We'll see, but it doesn't really serve either of them right now to get back in the ring with one another at this stage. If you are a Kamala fan today, you are full of joy. It has given a lift to the campaign that felt like it was flatlining a little bit, and that was what was being indicated in the polls. If you're a conservative, this was a story all about ABC and the moderators and media bias. The reality is, if you're trying to be totally objective, that doesn't undermine the fact that Kamala was better prepared. It was a stronger performance. I'd love to know what you think. Tell me, what did you think of the debate? Do you agree? Did Kamala win? If so, did you see a stronger, different side of Kamala? How about the moderators? Did they get too involved? Were they unfair? Did they show a media bias? How will this impact the election? Will there indeed be another debate? Is it worth it for either person to debate again? Please let me know. I'd love to hear from you.